Hi there, Stampin' Peace friends. Welcome to my studio. I'm Knabe, coming to you live from my Facebook page on Thursday, September 19th. Just a few more days and it will be fall, but I don't know about you, where you are, but here in Central Ohio, it is hot, hot, hot. It still feels like summer, and we desperately need rain, but temperatures are going to be in the 90s this weekend, and then yeah, fall starts on Sunday. Who's ready for fall? I am. Warm days, cool nights, I'm all about that. Thanks to those of you who ordered Stampin' Up! Products yesterday during our free shipping promotion. I love when Stampin' Up! Gives us one of those free shipping days. They don't come very often, but boy, it sure is nice. Trying to think, any announcements? No, not really today. I'm going to flip my camera around now. I'm going to show you a fun and easy card layout that you can make with just about any of your designer series papers. You might also find it a great way to use up some of the scraps that you have, and I think you're going to love it. So let me flip my camera around now so we can get started. While I'm doing that, please share this video and invite others to join us. Oh, having a little glitch here. Hold on. There we go. Okay. The first thing I'm going to do is tell you what products I'm using today. I'll be using pieces of 1" by 4" designer series paper. These are all from the Wildly Flowering DSP collection. I'll also be using a stamp set from that, or a stamp from that bundle, You've Been on My Mind. I love this one for so many different reasons for sending cards. That's one of my favorites. And then I've also embossed some white cardstock with our Birchwood 3D embossing folder. This embossing folder is one of those large ones, and depending on which way you want the direction to go, you can actually fit 2 5¼ by 4" pieces of cardstock on that embossing folder. And this is part of the Nest of Winter suite in our mini catalog. The Wildflower Designs bundle and the Wildly Flowering designer series paper is from our annual catalog. The first thing I'm going to do before we make our layout with these strips is I'm going to put my 3 card bases together. And to do that, I'm using 3 different color card bases today: Moody Mauve, Wild Wheat, and the last one is, what is this? Misty Moonlight. I have a piece of basic white for each of inside of my card bases. These measure 4" by 5¼ . It's always a good idea to have a white or light color of cardstock on the inside of your card base for writing in, or even if you want to include a stamped image or sentiment on the inside of your card. Of course, if you're going to stamp anything there, I suggest you do that before you adhere your cardstock to the card base, just in case you make a mistake and you need to turn it over. Best thing about cardstock is it has two sides, right? And then these are the 3 pieces of basic white that I embossed with that birchwood 3D embossing folder. I love birch trees. We always had some in our yards, in our family homes. And that just made me think. I had somebody come out here on Monday. I want to do a little landscaping in my backyard. And I forgot to mention to him that I love birch trees. However, they can, I won't say make a mess, but they have a lot of small, thin branches. So it's easy for those to fall, like in a storm and stuff, and the leaves. And I told this guy, I want low maintenance this time. I love working out in the yard, but this year has definitely given me some challenges with my back issues. Oh, I should show you my bracelet. This was one of the activities that we did at the Chirpy Doodle retreat last week. It says Stamp It, and I love the colors of the beads. This, I call it like a granny apple green, and what would I say? I'd say bubble bath for that pink. Really fun though. Fun and easy, my kind of thing. Okay, now I need 3 strips for each of my layouts. And you know that Stampin' Up! Designer Series paper has 2 sides. So consider the fact that you may want to do some mixing and matching, okay? So for this one, this is Misty Moonlight card base. So I want to pick some pieces that have those colors. I like that this has some of that blue in there. And then I've got these, and of course that. So let me see here. And these strips are all the same size. They are, I don't know what I want. Oh, I like this too, though. They are 1" by 4" strips. And basically, I'm just going to be laying 2 of the pieces out like this. Now, when you lay the first piece down, and I'm going to use multi-purpose glue. And the first piece, I'm only putting my glue on the top half. And I'm going to adhere this about a 1/2 inch from, not a 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch from the edge of my white card layer. And I should say, if the person who made my inspiration card, which I've lost, I have searched through all of my recent swap cards, and I don't know what I did with it. Except it might be in one of my bins outside in the garage, because I was showing my card swaps from the retreat to friends that I was with in Cincinnati at the end of last week. So maybe I dropped it in there. So the first one, I'm adhering only at the top. The second one, you can go ahead and put adhesive all along the back of it. So we're going to stick that whole thing down. Now I want one piece that is going to go across. And I think I'm going to choose, yeah, I'm going to choose this side. I want one piece that's going to go across, but I'm going to tuck the left end under my first strip, and then the rest will go across the top. So on this one too, you can put adhesive over the whole back. But anyways, as I was saying, I got a swap card from the retreat early last week, but it didn't have a name on, so I can't give credit to the person who made it. So if somebody's who was at the retreat is watching and knows whose card that was, please let me know, because I'd like to give them credit if I can. And then I'm going to repeat the process with my other two card bases. So this is wild wheat. I know not everybody likes wild wheat, but sometimes we have to step out of our comfort zone, right? And ironically, one of my team members was using wild wheat on a card, and I'm trying to think what else she was using with it. It may have been this DSP. But anyway, she had a small background piece die cut, and when she held it up, the wild wheat actually appeared to be a golden color, which I thought was really cool. I hadn't thought of it taking on that look of gold, but in the particular card she made, it really did. It was very striking. So I know not everybody is a lover of wild wheat. I'm not sure I was when I first saw it either, but now I love it. I think it was just finding the right combination of colors to use with it. And this wildly flowering DSP is a perfect way to showcase that wild wheat. Okay, and then let's see, I want something, I think I'm going to go like this. I like that blue, and we've got some of the wild wheat in these flowers. And again, because I only attached my first strip at the top, I'm able to slide this third strip right under and adhere it there. And then I'll put some at the bottom of that, some adhesive at the bottom of that first strip. And then once more, let's see. I love some of these small floral prints here. And then going across, I want a little bit of contrast. I like that there's a little bit of the Moody Mauve showing in some of these strips. Let's see. I'm going to use this one. But really, I mean, again, ooh, that looks pretty too. But I'll stick with my first choice. So, top of the first strip, approximately 1/4 inch from the edge of the white layer. Second strip, I can adhere all the way down. And then the third strip, I can adhere all the way down, but I need to remember to lift up that first strip and tuck this one underneath. Now, the card that I cased, the person had cut just about, I'd say a 1/2 inch off. The third strip was 3.5 inches. So it didn't quite go all the way across, but I thought, and it looked nice, trust me, it looked great. But I thought, for the sake of showing a very easy card layout, that I would keep all of my strips the same, 1 inch by 4 inches. And that makes it extra easy when you're mixing and matching. If you wanted that third strip just a little bit shorter, so more of the white layer is showing, what I would do is lay out the pieces first, okay? And then I would decide which was going to be the third strip, and if I wanted it shorter, then I would cut it, okay? Am I putting the strips all the way to the end of the cardstock or just the white? Tanya, they're going to the edge of the white cardstock, okay? Edge of the white cardstock. Okay, so top and bottom and each side, I'm going just to the edge of the white cardstock. Good question. I'm glad you asked if you're having trouble seeing that. Okay, so now we need to add the sentiment. I love this sentiment, so I'm using it for all 3 of my cards today. And I will be giving each of these cards away, so stick around. And I'm using this wonderful punch. I love this. This is in our annual catalog. And this punch, actually, you can buy the punch itself, or you can buy a die set with the very same shape, only you get 3 of those dies, just like this. And I opted for the punch. Center that. If you have not worked with Stampin' Up! Punches before, you will find that most often we are using or punching from the back side. And the reason for that is then we can center our stamped image or sentiment within that opening. The other fabulous thing about our punches is they fold and lock into place. And then you can store them stacked, or you can store them standing up like in a file, kind of like a file section. So that's a great thing too. Takes up less space. You've been on my mind. What are some occasions for sending cards that you might use this sentiment with? You've been on my mind. I'm going to shout out, and just type in the comments whatever your thought is. My first thought is just because. Do you ever have those days when you think of somebody, especially maybe somebody you don't see often, but for some reason you thought of them? Why not tell them, right? Sympathy, illness, get well, recovery, yes. And how about missing somebody? You've been on my mind because I miss you so much. Sympathy, yes. And I'm just going to put the sentiment right here. And you could play with your sentiment. In fact, the card I cased had a circle, layered circles for the sentiment that person used. Anyone going through anything, yes. And we all have something, don't we? Birthday, get well, missing you, thinking of you, yes. Anybody going through anything difficult, it's just nice to know that you're thought of, right? And if you appreciate being thought of, I'm sure anybody you send a card to would as well. Friendship and family, absolutely. So now you can see why this particular sentiment is one of my very favorites. Okay, how about a little bling? We can do some bling. We can do a bow. So I like the idea of using linen thread for these cards. And let's see, if I were choosing, how about that? How about these? Oh, I like these. And you know what? I believe, let me see if I have any. We should have some glossy dots in those colors. Or actually, they might be retired now that I think about it. I think they're retired, yes. Okay, so let's do this. I've got my 3 samples that I made ahead of time. You can see how similar they are to what I just made with you, right? And then this one. So very similar, right? So let's do this. I'll put these textured dots, still one of my favorites ever. Still one of my favorites ever. And let's see, I want to decide how I want these. I think I want them up here. So I'm going to put some textured dots on one set of cards. And then on the other set, I will make some bows of the linen thread. I don't think 5 embellishments is too many for this card. In fact, I'll go so far as to say I like it with 5 more than I do just the 3. Oh, okay. Tanya Jackson, great minds think alike. Wait till you see the other set of cards I made with the same card layout this weekend. Once I do this, I'll show those. Okay, so they look great, right? With the textured dots, love that. And then I think I'll just make a simple, I'll say 3 simple bows with the linen thread. How many of you use linen thread? How many use linen thread? This is one of the most economical trims or embellishments you can add for your paper crafts. And it pretty much goes with just about everything. So linen thread is definitely a staple in my craft room. And I think it's an excellent addition to this Wildly Flowering Designer Series paper. Super simple to tie bows with. It's as easy as tying a shoe. And again, it's just really, really affordable. It goes a long way. If I remember correctly, the price is just $5. Not only is it great for embellishing cards, it's also wonderful for making hanging tags. All right, now there are a couple ways that I adhere bows. One is by using a mini glue dot on the back of the knot of the bow. But when I make linen thread bows, I'm trying to decide where I want it. When I make linen thread bows, I prefer to just use a dot of the multi-purpose glue. And it does take a moment for that to dry, and so that I don't have to hold all of these in place while they're drying in place, I just put a clear stamping block on top. Because then I'll leave that on for, a minute or so until that's dry. And then while those are drying, I have time to move on to something else. Okay, so there are today's cards. Okay, here, I'll flip them this way and you can compare the samples to the ones I made with you in the live. So what do you think? Super easy layout, right? Super easy. Fabulous, right? Okay, so now let me show you the holiday cards I made with, what did we just call this, Tanya? The Take a Bow Designer Series paper. Okay, and the three different colors of card bases and the circles. This decorative circle is from the Spotlight on Nature bundle. All of the dies in that bundle are great standalone dies. So even if you're not interested in the Spotlight on Nature stamp set, you might want to take a look at the die set because it's all decorative circles. I think there's, 8 or so different ones, different sizes and different decorative borders, and they're great for layering. Aren't these gorgeous? Real red, granny apple green, and garden green are the three colors. And again, super simple and easy. I used the Falling Snow embossing folder for the background. You can use any embossing folder you like or that goes with the theme of your cards, or you can just use a plain piece of cardstock as your background. But aren't these wonderful? Bright, fun, colorful, and it's a great card layout to use if you send a lot of cards at once, or maybe if you're building up your stash of cards. Start trimming your papers 1 inch by 4 inch, and there you go. You'll be all set. Okay, if you are interested in having your name entered into the drawing to receive one of these cards I made with you today, please type in the comments now. Oh, let's see. Let's do Birchwood. Birchwood, that's the name of the embossing folder that I used in the background. Birchwood. Did anybody get this yet? Birchwood? Lori Hall, I think these would make great sympathy cards. And sympathy cards are ones I like to have on hand because when I really need one, it's hard for me to get into the mood to make a sympathy card. I do better if I can make a bunch ahead of time and have them available when I need them. So great idea. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me on this Thursday afternoon. I will be putting this video with dimensions, color photos, product list, everything you need to make them yourself on my blog, stampinpeace.com, probably in the next day or so. My son-in-law, John, is coming after his work day today to pull out some overgrown bushes and things for me. And I'm hoping to do some quilting because I'm so excited. I've got quilt pieces laid out on my sofa and my living room floor, just the way I want them, and I can't wait to put those together for another quilt top. So lots of work, lots of sewing I want to get done in the next few days, and I'm very fortunate to have my son-in-law, John, helping me out this afternoon. All right, everyone, you have a great weekend. Remember, fall begins on Sunday. I know lots of us are excited about a new season. And I will see you next week, Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time here on my Facebook page, Stampin' Peace with Mary Knabe. Bye-bye.